You know how we complain about copays and waiting forever at the pharmacy? Well, for most of human history, getting sick wasn't just a problem. It meant you were about to become part of a really horrifying science experiment.
I mean, can you even imagine hearing that diagnosis? It just perfectly captures the reality for our ancestors. A lot of the time, the cure was so much worse than the actual disease.
So today, we're going to climb a pyramid of pure medical terror. We're going to rank some of history's absolute worst cures, starting at the bottom with what I'm calling barely surviving and working our way all the way up to pure nightmare fuel.
Okay, let's kick things off at the bottom of our pyramid, tiers D and C. This is an era where just, not dying was considered a massive medical success.
Welcome to Tier D. It's 20,000 years ago. You're out there hunting a woolly mammoth with basically a sharp stick. You get a simple cut, and if that gets infected, well, that's pretty much it for you. No antibiotics, your only cure is to chew on some random plants you found while your least favorite relative yells useless advice from across the mammoth bone hut.
All right, let's level up to Tier C. Humanity discovers farming. You'd think that's a huge step up, right? Well, not exactly. Suddenly, we're all living in close quarters, so new diseases spread like wildfire. And our diet? All starchy grains, which was great fuel for mouth bacteria. That means your teeth were basically just rotting right out of your skull. And if you had an agonizing infection, your dentist was some guy with a rock.
Okay, moving on up to Tier B. At this level, the problems aren't just about a bad toothache. We're talking full-on societal catastrophes. And believe me, the cures get a whole lot weirder.
So it's the mid-1300s, and this shadow falls over Europe. An unstoppable plague, carried by fleas on rats, just rips across the continent. And since nobody had any idea what germs were, entire cities just became breeding grounds for a disease that would literally change the world forever.
The scale of this it's hard to wrap your head around. This wasn't a small outbreak. The plague wiped out somewhere between 30 and 60% of the entire population of Europe. Seriously, look around you. Imagine 1 out of every 2 people you know just gone. It was an apocalypse. So, faced with this, what was the cutting-edge medical response? These absolutely terrifying bird masks. The logic here was something else. See, they stuffed the beaks full of fragrant herbs and flowers because they believed bad air caused the sickness. So their brilliant cure was to smell something nice, to ward off a disease that could kill you in a matter of days. Yeah, peak medieval science.
And now we hit Tier A. This is where medicine doesn't just stop being helpful, it gets actively, dangerously unhinged. Welcome, my friends, to the Renaissance and the Victorian era.
So let's take a look at the pharmacy menu, shall we? Feeling a little down? Or maybe you have syphilis. Well, your doctor would prescribe a refreshing elixir of pure toxic mercury. Got a bad headache? For centuries, the go-to cure was literal, ground-up Egyptian mummies.
And no, I am not kidding. Just let that sink in for a second. This wasn't some fringe, back-alley belief. This was mainstream European medicine. Doctors were raiding ancient tombs, grinding up preserved bodies, and selling it as a cure-all. It's medicinal cannibalism, plain and simple. Okay, we've made it. We are at the very top of our tier list. Tier S. The absolute boss level, the pinnacle of horrifying historical medicine. This is the one that makes everything else look like a walk in the park.
The practice is called trepanation. It's been around for thousands and thousands of years across all sorts of different cultures, and yeah, it is exactly as terrible as it sounds.
But why? Why would anyone ever do this? Well, the logic was terrifyingly simple. If you had migraines or seizures or were just acting a little strange, the diagnosis was obvious. You had evil spirits trapped inside your head, and the only cure? You guessed it, drill a hole in your skull to let them out. And the absolute worst part? There was no anesthesia. You were awake for the entire thing.
So wow. After that journey into the absolute depths of medical horror, what's the takeaway here? Let's bring it all back to the present. And more importantly, back to you. Next time you find yourself getting frustrated waiting at a pharmacy or dealing with an insurance copay, just remember your ancestors. Remember they had to choose between a demon-releasing skull drill and a refreshing glass of ground-up mummy. The very fact that you exist means a long line of people somehow survived all of this. It leads you to this really powerful realization. Your survival, the fact that you're here, isn't about luck. As the source material puts it, You're the byproduct of violent coincidence and stubborn biology. You're the end result of countless ancestors who endured the most brutal conditions and these absolutely absurd cures.
I mean, really think about that path. Every single one of your ancestors survived long enough to have kids, despite infected wounds, rotting teeth, global plagues, and doctors with drills. That incredible, stubborn will to live is why you're here right now. You are the miracle they fought mammoths and plagues and skull drills for.